Hello student, how are you? I hope you all are keeping good. And welcome everybody to the management second part revision class. You know that we are continuing our revision class about the collecting knowledge question and realization question or understanding question. According to that, today we will set the knowledge and understanding question of chapter 10, that name is controlling. So let's see what are the questions on your screen. What do you mean by control? You know that. What do you mean by controlling? This is it's the function, seven function of the management. So management controlling is setting standard or measuring actual performance, comparing actual performance with the standard, and if we found any fault we have to take corrective measure. So that is controlling. Now coming to next question, how many steps are in controlling process? You know that there is 5 steps. What are the steps? Setting standard, number 1, then measuring actual performance, number 2, comparing performance with the standard, number 3, number 4, find out fault and evaluate them, and number 5, taking corrective action. So these 5 steps are in the controlling process. Now coming to another question, you can see on your board. What do you mean by corrective measures of controlling? You know that earlier I said that the corrective measure, it is a step of controlling process. So in the process, the what are the deviation happen in the work, so that deviation must be compromised with the standard, and that compromisation is taken place by the help of corrective measure. So that is how we can say that the to meet the deviation we have to take some measure that will called the corrective measure. Now coming to the next question, how is standard set in the controlling process? You know that to control anything, so you have to make a standard. Otherwise you cannot say that this is right and this is wrong. To say this is right, you have to compare with the standard, and when I fixed the measure of evaluating something, that measurement is called standard. Coming to the next, what do you mean by budgetary control? You know that budget is numerical expression of plan. So when we will try to control anything by setting any budget, that will be called budgetary control. Now coming to the next question, what is the basis of controlling? You know that the controlling basis is planning. According to the planning, we have to control the other activities of controlling process. Now coming to the why is controlling called the basis of next plan. Yeah, you have to understand that when we take measurement or corrective measure or corrective step or corrective action to meet the standard, so this corrective measure will be considered for next planning. So that is why we can say that the planning is the controlling is the basement of next plan. Now coming to the another questions, what is an audit? You know that audit means collecting information within the department or sub-department, what actually going on, how much is done, and how much have to done, and how much is remain undone. So we have to take some information, and when the organization try to gather the current situation, what is going on, that all the gathering information is called audit. Now coming to the next, what is Gantt chart? Do you know a person whose name is Henry Lawrence Gantt? He invented a chart showing sub-activities and time. Sub-activities in the vertical way and time given on the horizontal way. And there is putting a chart. In the chart also mentioned when the sub-work will start and when the sub-work will end, and other sub-work will start, other sub-work will end. This chart is called Gantt chart, according to the name of Henry Lawrence Gantt. Now coming to another question, explain the endless process of controlling. You know that the controlling is the last process of management. So that is why when it is end, all the work is not end. When the management circle is going on, the process of circle, so then again another plan will be taken, and others after overpassing others 5 or 6 activities or if 6 function, again will come to the controlling. So controlling is a continuous process, and to maintain the organization work very effectively, it is the essential to make sure controlling is on the process. Now coming to the next question, what is PART? Do you know PART is a method of controlling, and it is a tool of controlling. So what is the full form of the PART? PART is P for performance, E for evaluation, and R for review, and T for technique. Now coming to the another question, what is control called the last step of management? What is control called the last step of management? You know that in the circle of management, including 7 activities, the last activities of this function is controlling. So that is why after a period of time, when the work is done, that times the work actually done perfectly or not, to justify this activities or justify this work with the standard, then the controlling process or controlling activities will arise. So that is why we can say that at the end of the period of times, this controlling activities will arise, and that is why it is the last task of the management function. Now coming to the another questions, explain planning and controlling as the epitome of currency. You know that the currency, if you do it, here is in that side is the planning and the controlling. Planning and controlling. It means that when you see the circle, when you see the circle of management cycle, that times you will see the planning will start with planning, and after completing all the activities, again will come to the controlling. So controlling, and then again you start planning. So it is means that the controlling and next work is planning. So planning and controlling are the epitome of currency. Because also it is interrelated. When the controlling activities have any corrective activities taken, so that will be the basement of the next plan. So that is why you can say this is the epitome of the currency. What is BEP? You know that a BEP is a tool of controlling. So BEP is a tool of controlling. Why? Because this BEP can indicate this how much you need to get profit, how much you have to sell to cover up your expense. So this indications given by the BEP, and full meaning of the BEP is break-even point. Now coming to another question, explain why controlling is timeless work. Controlling is timeless work. It means that controlling is the continued work, and it will be continued again and again. So that is why it is called the timeless. And you know that when a task is done, again another plan will be taken, and again the controlling process will come to the controlling process. So that is why it will they're endless, and it will continue as the organization is going on and as the organization is active to on their activity. Now coming to the another questions, the principle of future philosophy. You know that in the controlling there is a principle, what is called, it is the principles of philosophy, means future philosophy. You know that the controlling process is done because of depending the standard, and when the standard is not adjusted, then we have to think about for future actually what will happen, because next plan will based on this controlling process. That is why the controlling must be regarding on future the philosophy. Now coming to the next question, what is the budget? You know that budget is a numerical expression of plan, future plan. What is numerical data analysis? You know that in organization so many data is being collected for last some year. So when considering the last year data to evaluate or to controlling the present times activity, so that will be called the process of controlling by numeric data analysis. Now coming to the another question, what is special report analysis? It is also a method of controlling. So this method will be applicable when the report on any special activity or a special event what is happened in the organization. If the controller try to make the best, try to consider this incident or report to controlling the present activities, that will be called the special report controlling. Now coming to the another, so what is personal observation? Personal observations is the oldest, and where the supervisor or the person or controller isn't in front of the worker and continuing observing what is actually working. This is the way of controlling, but it is not possible for the larger scale organization, because one person cannot see so many people, so what are they working. So that is why we can say this, the personal observation means to directly conduct or observe the workers activities as a controlling work. Now coming to the next question, what is the internal audit? Do you know, in the organization, every organization try to get some update performance of what actually being done in the organization. So that collecting data is called internal audit. What is meant by financial statement analysis? You know that financial statements that is done in the accounting. What is your one of the subject? In the subject there is a balance sheet, there is a income statement. So altogether it is called the financial statement. So when these financial statements will be considered to control all the activities of the organization, that times it will be called the controlling method of financial statement analysis. Now coming to the next question, so what is meant by return analysis on investment? You know that to decide or to make an investment on something, on some field, you have to think about, you have to make some plan actually what outcome will come from this project. If there is a outcome, if there is a profitable outcome, then you can invest there. So this is the process when I try to control previously what I decided, and previously what the income estimate I have done, according to that, when I invested there, that time I will try to control this the past in the past, estimate what I did. According to that, if I do control that, that will be called the return analysis of investment. Now coming to the next question, controlling functions are more closely related to higher level of management. Yes, you have said it very correctly, and in the questions also said that because the controlling activity was and all the activity of the higher level management, like this the manager, the general manager, and other abouts who are in the organizational structure, they will uh, maintain all the controlling process activities, all the controlling activities, because the loyal foremen who are, they will perform, but the control activities will be done by the higher level of the management. Now coming to the explain the method of break-even point the analysis as the controlling technique. You know that break-even points earlier we have discussed about the break-even point is a point where the income and expense are equal. So that is why there is no loss, no profit. So when a organization consider this point as their controlling, means that they have pointed out here is my neutral point. If I want to make profit, then I have to go up. If I don't do this, if I don't maintain this point, then I will get loss. So this is the point. According to the point, when the organization try to control their sales department or the production department by saying that this is our break-even point, you have to take your aim. You have to fix your aim how we can get our profit. So this is the process of controlling. So this 25 questions of this chapter, it's very important questions, or if you do concentrations about this 25 question, then you will be able to write any type of question comes in exam paper or question paper. So that is why I will request you all to think about this question, short question, and when you get this is knowledge question, that times you will write like this, or if you get the understanding questions, that times you have to add some extra explanation. So thank you for today. We will see you tomorrow.